This is Nicola from Cognitive Sports Therapy, and in this session we're going to talk a little bit about paternal mental health. So that is the mental health and well-being of new dads, and this is a group of people who are generally not discussed in terms of being at risk or being vulnerable after the birth of a child. The focus has always been very much on the mother, but research is continuing to show us that also dads are suffering from postnatal depression, and those can be feelings of anxiety, stress and depression anytime up to the first year after having a baby. And it's been shown that 1 in 10 dads suffer from postnatal depression, and up to 45% of dads suffer from postnatal stress and anxiety. And the reasons why that might be are very similar to the reasons that mothers suffer from postnatal depression. It can be so many different factors, from lack of sleep, worry about money, worry about relationships, perhaps not being able to feel useful or feel involved enough in the baby's upbringing and well-being. It can also go all the way back to the birth experience, where perhaps a dad didn't feel involved enough in the process, or if it was a difficult birthing experience, perhaps there was a lot of worry and anxiety about the health and the safety of the baby and of the mother. A lot of dads I know feel like it kind of happened without them. Things are improving, and labour and delivery nurses and the whole birthing process is starting to involve dads a lot more in the whole process, as it's being shown to be so much more important to them, to the mothers, and also to the bond with the baby if the dads are more involved. So those things are improving. So other reasons why a dad might develop feelings of stress and anxiety is not feeling that they can perhaps engage with their partner as well as they used to, or perhaps they are not bonding with the baby as they'd hoped. As mums have these expectations of what having a new baby might be like, dads also have that, and often with high expectations comes disappointment. And you add to that the change in hormones, which also happens in the new dads as well as new mums. You add the lack of sleep, you add perhaps other children into the mix. There's a lot of pressure, which can cause a lot of difficult situations, which can lead to anxiety, stress, and depression. So what can we do to help these dads? Well, the first thing is to recognise that new dads might be suffering from these symptoms in the same way that new mums are, and asking them if they're okay, offering them support, encourage them to talk about their experience, how they're feeling, and encouraging them to get help if they need it. And a lot of the solutions to postnatal depression in dads are very similar to those in mums. There might be the suggestion to use medications, so antidepressants, as well as using talking therapies as well. So there is help out there for new dads, or dads anytime up into the first year. Often postnatal depression in dads doesn't show up until between 3 and 6 months, as the new situation, the new reality becomes more kind of real, and it's more every day. Okay, and as a case in maternal postnatal depression, it kind of creeps up on you gradually. Okay, so it's not like you suddenly wake up and you feel that life is very difficult. It's a gradual development of events. Dads might find that it is harder to make decisions. They might feel more tearful. They might feel they might find it more difficult to have conversations and be engaged in the relationship with the mum. They might find it difficult to engage with other children in the family, or also with the new baby. So there's lots of different ways that the symptoms can show themselves. But the key thing is to recognise that there is help available. So if you are a new dad, or if you know a new dad who doesn't see themselves, or even if you don't see them that often, maybe just ask the question, are you doing okay? You know, how are things going? I know we're all supposed to be super excited and full of joy with a new baby, but the reality is often that things are quite difficult. Relationships can be strained between mother and father. Also, it's been shown that there are high incidences of postnatal depression in dads who are not with the mother anymore. So you've got the added difficulties of being able to see the baby perhaps and bond with the baby if you're not in a relationship with the mum. So just if you are a dad in that situation, just be really aware of how you're feeling. You don't have to put up with these feelings of anxiety, these feelings of stress, these feelings of worthiness. So you must seek help, talk to somebody, whether it's a friend, a relative, the mother of the baby, your GP, help is available, okay? So with that in mind, exercise is always the first thing that we perhaps suggest here at CST. Get outside, get moving, okay? Do something for yourself just to see if that eases things a little bit for you, okay? Fresh air and movement can often alleviate some of these feelings, okay? So let's make that our first port of call today. And I'm going to take you through a few exercises to get your heart rate up, okay? To get you breathing a little heavier, to get your cardiovascular system working. And we can do those together right now, okay? If you have a chance to take your laptop or your phone or whatever outside to do the exercise, even better. All right, perhaps meet up with another dad and go for a nice walk and just talk about how you are feeling, the stresses and strains, the joys, the whole thing about being a new dad, okay? But for now, let's do a few exercises together here, okay? So we're gonna stand with our feet hip width apart, bend your knees slightly, okay? Make sure your tummy is pulled in nice and tight so your core is nice and strong. Just gonna mobilize through our shoulders, making those circles bigger and bigger and bigger, and swing those arms all the way up and round. Beautiful. And we're going to reverse that. Okay, so keep the circles big and just bring those arms all the way around. And we're gradually going to make those circles a little bit smaller. Bend your arm a little bit. That's it, lovely. Lifting the elbows, making those circles smaller, 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 lovely. And we're going to take it into a step with a twist through, step, twist through. So just warming up through our spine, lovely. So I'm going to take you through a few intervals, okay? We're going to alternate cardio with strength, all right? If you've got dumbbells or kettlebells with you, you can add a little bit of weight if you'd like to, but mostly we're going to be doing body weight, okay? Lovely. Now take it up and over to the side. Might feel like it looks like aerobics, but that's all right. We can do a little bit of coordination, I think. Perfect. Tap that toe, stretch through the back of your leg, reaching high and overhead. Wonderful. And from here, we're going to go into a jumping jack, either with the impact or with the low impact version here. So if you've got any aches and pains in your knees, your hips, your shoulders, just minimize the movement. Take the impact out, okay? Lovely. So we're here or we're here. Beautiful. So another 10 seconds here. Now we can get into the body of the workout. Lovely. Well done. And 3, 2, and 1. Resting there. Excellent. So the interval is going to be 45 seconds long. All right. I'm just going to take you through a few. You can then continue the pattern if you like with any exercises that you know. You could rewind it, watch it again. All right. So you can spend as long on this workout as you'd like to. All right. So the first one's going to be marching on the spot. If you're not doing any impact today, or running on the spot. You can also run around your garden or your living room or whatever space you've got. 45 seconds then. Ready, set, let's go. So high knees, get those knees up, try and make your heels come in contact with the floor with each step, just so you're not too much on your tippy toes. That might hurt the back of your calves after a little while. Don't want to strain those. So if you're not running today, you're marching, this might be a good place for you to start. Remember, any movement is good for you. It's good physically, but it's also, very importantly, good for you mentally. Gives you that endorphin boost that you might be missing. And as a new dad, it's hard to find that time sometimes to yourself for that self-care. There's a lot of people to take care of, and rest. So you'll be thinking about taking care of the mum of the baby if you're in the household. You'll be perhaps thinking about taking care of other children. You'll be thinking about the best things for the baby. Often the dad is right down at the bottom of the pile. You've got to look after yourself because there's a lot going on with a new baby in the house, with a new baby in life. All right, lovely. So, done your cardio. We're going to go to strength now. So taking it into a squat, okay? Let's do quite a nice wide squat. So you have your toes turned out, you have your knees going out over your toes, nice tight tummy, and you're going to bring your bottom down until you're level with your knees, and then you're going to push back up, okay? So just have a little practice with that. Obviously, that's the depth that we're aiming for. If you can only come to here and back up, that's a really good start, okay? When you squat, you want to make sure that you push your bottom back first, then bend your knees, okay? Make sure that you're not bending at the knees first because we load those knees far too much if we do it that way. If you've got a dumbbell or a kettlebell, you can hold the weight in front of your chest for these, and we'll come down and push back up. If you're starting moving after a long period of inactivity, please do not use any weight at all. All right, we're going to do 45 seconds of these squats then. So have equipment there if you need it. You can pick it up, put it down in between during the whole interval if you want to. Ready? Off we go. So just because you pick it up at the beginning of the interval does not mean that you have to hold it the whole time. You might be doing a few of these and think, this is a bit easy. I'm going to pick up my weight. So please feel free to pick up that weight if you've got it and continue from there. Remember, push your bottom back, then bend your knees, and then the work really gets nice and centered in your glutes and in your thighs. Nice and evened out there. Lovely, well done. Beautiful job. Try and get that full range of movement. So get nice and deep. Like I said, drop the weight if you've decided that's enough for you. Well done. Come on, let's do a few extras. Lovely job. Push your knees out over your toes. So come out to the sides like so. Lovely. And 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Excellent. Move that weight aside so you're not going to trip over it. Lovely. This time for cardio, we're going to do a side step. So use the space that you've got. Okay, we're going to keep low. So again, hinge at the hip, push your bottom back. We're going to side step, tap down, side step, tap down. Okay, so you can keep low impact if you want. You can keep the jump out. Just keep your knees bent. So there's work going through your thighs here and your glutes at the back. Tap down, come up. So either speedy or slow impact or no impact. All right, 45 seconds then. Ready? Assume position. Off we go. Lovely. Tap down. Well done. Excellent. Great job. That's it. So this interval is aiming to get our heart rate up, to get our cardiovascular system working, to have us breathing a little bit heavier by the end. Lovely. You can do little steps if you want, bigger steps if you want. You choose. You can speed it up, you can slow it down. You don't have to match me. As long as you're moving, breathing a little bit heavier by the end of the interval. That's what we're aiming for. We have 3, 2, and last one. Rest there. Lovely job. Fantastic. A nice gentle step touch. Lovely. So, if you know a new dad who needs a bit of a pick-me-up, perhaps you can forward this video on to them. Perhaps you can do it together. Perhaps invite a new dad out for a walk, just see how he's doing. Ask him those questions. Let him know that you're a safe person to talk to. He doesn't have to pretend that it's all okay. All right, you could even bring up the subject by saying you read an article. Okay, for somebody who's not comfortable necessarily talking about their feelings, or finds it hard to admit that they're struggling, you could perhaps say that you've read an article or you've watched a video and you've heard about postnatal depression in dads, and you just want to check on him. All right, start the conversation. Lovely. Okay, so our next strength exercise is to work the back of our arms. Okay, so tricep dip. So if you've got a dining chair or the arm of an armchair or a sofa or whatever, as long as it's nice and sturdy, make sure it's pushed up against something so it doesn't slip away from you. Okay, you are going to actually, I'm going to move it out so you can see it carefully. But I would normally have this up against the wall. Okay, so you can take a seat to start with. Always a nice way to start an exercise. You can have your fingers facing forward and you're just going to tuck your hands underneath your bottom. If you've got a wider surface like the arm of an armchair, you can bring your hands slightly wider than your hips. Now your feet are going to be slightly in front of your knees. Okay, so when you lift your bottom off, your weight's going to be in your hands and your knees will be out over your toes. Okay, like so. All right, keeping your back nice and close to the chair, you're going to bend your elbows so that your bottom comes down to the ground and you push yourself back up using the strength in your arms. Now, if you don't have a lot of strength in your arms, if you're feeling that's quite a weak area for you at the moment, you can use your feet to push your weight back up, okay? So you can use your feet to help. So push through a little bit through your feet as well as your arms. Perfect. If that's too easy, you can step your feet out a little bit and then you're loading your arms that little bit more. So it's going to be your arms working a little bit harder. Okay, so drop your bottom, push on through. All right, so we're going to do a set of those for 45 seconds. You might be able to do 5, you might be able to do almost 55. Maybe that's a long duration, but we can see and pace yourself as you need to. All right, so I'm going to set this back here so I don't go sliding off. Set yourself up with a suitable area, suitable seat, and when you're ready, we're going to lift that bottom off, so weights in your hands, and off we go. So we're aiming for a bigger range of movement as possible. So really bend those arms, tap your bottom as close to the ground as you can. You won't get all the way there, there's just not the mobility in your shoulders to get down there. All right, try and use your feet as little as possible, okay? So really push that weight through the palms, the heels of your hand, rather than your feet. Lovely job, well done. It's a tough one, well done. Let's do another 10 seconds. Wonderful job. Excellent. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Scoot your bottom back. Have a little rest. You can shake your arms out. If you need to stretch that out, just bring your hand between your shoulder blades. Push your arm back to put some pressure on there. And just feel that stretch through there. You also might feel in your shoulders because your shoulders are working hard there. So if that's the case, just bring your arm across and around. And return it. Lovely. Squeeze it in. Lovely, well done. And release. Okay, we've got another cardio interval. We're going to do the marching or jogging or running again, okay? So take yourself off if you need to, or stay with me, off we go. So let's try and get those knees a little bit higher this time, if you can. Wonderful. Lovely. Tummy's tight and nice and upright. You can travel with it a little bit if you like. Backwards and forwards, just make sure there's nothing to fall over. Lovely. You can time yourselves heading off and back for 45 seconds if you like. So we're just going to do 2 more intervals live, okay? If you want to repeat them, then please go ahead and do that. If you want to add your own strength and cardio intervals after this, just continue the workout for as long as you would like. But just these few minutes spent with me here, it's really going to help, okay? It's going to give that little boost you need. And hopefully you can see how easy it is actually to fit into your day. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. And even though it sounds counterintuitive, if you're tired, exercise will actually energize you. It won't make you more tired. It'll give you a little bit of pep that you need to get through the day. Okay, so well done for doing this, and well done for you who are going to share this with a dad that you think might appreciate it. All right, the last strength one I'm going to take you through then is a push-up, okay? So lots of different levels, all right? So hands and knees to start with. If you haven't done a push-up before, or you are tired, or for whatever reason, your starting position will be with your knees directly underneath your hips. And don't feel like starting off in an easy position is weakness. It isn't. Wherever you start from, as long as you're starting, that's the important thing. All right, so you're going to spread your fingers nice and wide. You're going to bend your elbows and bring your forehead down towards the mat. Push through your hands to push yourself back up. Just kind of like you're pushing the floor away. Tummy stays tight, back stays flat. And we're keeping those elbows really close to our body, okay? So again, we're targeting the triceps as well as the chest and the shoulders. So let me show you from the front. You'll see how my elbows stay close to the ground. They come close to the ground. They stay nice and close to the sides of my body. So they're not turning out like so. They're staying nice and narrow, okay? And again, they're not wide here, all right? We're not dropping our chest down through our hands like so. Nice and narrow, kind of just outside shoulder width, bending our elbows, bringing our nose down to the ground, pushing through. Really tough for the arms. So that's your starting position. If you're a little bit stronger, step your knees back and drop your hips slightly. So your shoulders and your hips are still in line. You've got a nice 45-degree angle between your knees and your hips, and it gives you a lot more body weight to push up from the ground, okay? So on your knees here, trying to keep your elbows nice and narrow. Some of you will absolutely be able to do it on your toes, so feel free to go ahead and do that. I need to take it a little bit wide if I'm going to do one of my toes. So go from there if you need to. Try and lower your chest down to the level of your elbows. That would be a nice step to get to. If you can't, do it on your knees. No one's watching. All right, so 45 seconds of push-ups. Ready, tummy tight, set, and go. So push that nose towards the ground, and then push the floor away from you as you come back, extending those arms, okay? Again, keeping those elbows really nice and narrow, all right? We're not going for any number of reps. We're just going to try and do as many as we can in that 45 seconds. We're halfway through already. So if you have to rest, if you have to stretch it out after a few, that's totally fine. Stretch it out and then come back down to it again. Lovely. Lower and push. Fantastic. Another 10 seconds here. Remember, choose to have your knees closer in. Just try and keep your elbows nice and narrow for this version. Resting there. Lovely job. Well done. So at this point, if you want to have a little bit more of a workout, just take it back to the beginning of the exercise session and run through those intervals again. If you want to add your own intervals on, you might want to do some lunges, you might want to do some skipping with a rope for your cardio. Just continue to alternate cardio intervals with strength intervals for as long as you like, okay? 30 minutes is a nice length workout. It fits in well to your day. Whatever time you've got and whatever energy you've got, you just dictate the workout for yourself. If you're ready for a rest now, we'll have a quick stretch out, okay? And then you can get on with your day. All right, so come and join me on the mat. I'm going to lie nice and flat, feet flat on the floor. Just tilt your pelvis slightly so that you're flattening your back into the mat. So you haven't got a gap underneath there. Lovely. And just squeeze that knee in towards your chest. So interlace your fingers, hook them under your knee, and just squeeze that knee in towards your chest. That opens up through the hip a little bit. You might find that your knee wants to come out to the side and kind of under your armpit kind of level. If it does, just squeeze it back in so it comes more centrally into your chest. Lovely. From here, you're going to extend your leg to the ceiling, holding behind your calf muscle or your thigh. Just pull that in slightly towards you. So you've got a nice stretch to the back of your thigh there. Flex your foot, pull the toe down towards you, push your heel towards the ceiling. It just exaggerates that stretch that a little bit through there. Lovely. And let's release that by crossing our ankle over onto our opposite knee. Okay, so the knee opens. And then you're going to pass your hands through the gap there, wrap them around the back of the thigh of the foot that was on the floor, and just squeeze it in towards you. All right, you should feel the stretch in your glute here and into your hip. If you want a little bit more, you can hold on to that shin. Okay, so you're reaching through a little bit further and squeeze it in, gives you a little bit more of a pull. Lovely. Excellent. Placing both feet down on the ground. We're going to bring the other knee in towards us. So just be aware if you've got a little gap underneath your back again. If you have, tilt your pelvis, squish your lower back into the mat, and then bring that knee in on the other side. So squeeze that knee in towards your chest. Feel a little bit of release through the hip. Again, just be aware if it wants to come out to the side. If it does, pull it round a little bit and back into the center of your chest area. Instead, lovely. Extend that leg overhead. Again, doesn't matter if you've got a bend in your knee at all. The key thing here is that you're feeling the stretch in your hamstring at the back here. So, and we're avoiding holding onto our knee just to give that knee joint some peace and quiet. Flex that foot. Feel that lovely stretch down the back of your leg there. Wonderful. Try and keep your tummy muscles pulled in nice and tight and keep breathing nice and regularly. So make sure that you're not holding your breath here. Release your ankle over onto your opposite knee. Again, reach through that gap, pulling on either the thigh of the foot that was on the floor, or you can wrap your hands around the shin and just relax there, feeling the stretch in the other glute now and the other hip joint as well. Try and make sure that your head's nice and relaxed on the floor. If you find that you are having to lift your head and shoulders off the floor, then place the foot down on the mat and just push that knee away from you instead. Because this bit's all about stretching and relaxing. You don't want any tension in your neck and shoulders. And really think about slowing your breath down. Lovely. So deep breaths in, deep breaths out. As Lucy from Cognitive Sports Therapy is always encouraging us to do, slow that breathing down. It can reset us. It can give us calm in any situation. Lovely. Release that, guys. So you can grab your hands behind your thighs here. Okay. If you've got no issues with your tummies, if you have, I want you to roll over to one side and come to sitting. Otherwise, behind your thighs, just roll yourselves up to sitting. And if you want to, you can do a couple of little fun rolls like so. Quite literally for the fun of it. All right, turn to face me. We're going to sit cross-legged and we're just going to stretch out our upper body a little bit, okay? So bringing that arm across the front of your chest, squeeze it in towards you, making sure that this shoulder is down, okay? So make sure it's not hunched up to your ear. Push that shoulder down, pull it on round while keeping everything else facing forward. So try not to twist your chest round, just pulling that shoulder across. So this gives you a nice shoulder stretch, bit of a tricep stretch there as well. Lovely. And release, and let's switch arms all the way across, squeeze that in. Lovely. It's a nice classic warm-up, just targets all of the groups that we've been using. Lovely job. And release. Now we're going to bring both hands on the floor next to our body, swing ourselves around so that we're on all fours. Okay, tuck our toes, and we're going to walk our hands towards our knees, lift our knees, roll our weight back onto our toes, and as we push our heels down to the floor, we're going to push our bottom up into the air, bring our hands towards our toes, and then we're going to run our hands up the front of our legs, keeping our chin tucked, rolling up vertebra by vertebra, nice and slowly. Feel that stretch all the way through your back as you come to standing. Lovely. Set your bearings. Nice deep breath at the top there. And your cool down is done. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions about maternal mental health or paternal mental health, if you're worried about how to approach somebody who you have concerns about, if we can help you with any of those things and more, please do contact Dr. Claire, Lucy, or myself, Nicola, at Cognitive Sports Therapy. We are here to listen and we are here to help you and the people you love feel better through movement. Thank you so much for joining me.